Psalm 31, beginning with verse 1, reading from Eugene Peterson's translation, entitled The Message. The word of the Lord is as follows. I run to you, God. I run for dear life. Don't let me down. Take me seriously this time. Get down on my level and listen. And please, no procrastination. Your granite cave, a hiding place. Your high cliff nest, a place of safety. You're my cave to hide in, my cliff to climb. Be my safe leader. Be my true mountain guide. Free me from hidden traps. I want to hide in you. I've put my life in your hands. You won't drop me. You'll never let me down. I hate all this silly religion, but you I trust. I'm leaping and singing in the circle of your love. You saw my pain. You disarmed my tormentors. You didn't leave me in their clutches, but gave me room to breathe. Be kind to me. I'm in deep, deep trouble again. I've cried my eyes out. I feel hollow inside. My life leaks away, groan by groan. My years fade out in size. My troubles have worn me out, turned my bones to powder. To my enemies, I'm a monster. I'm ridiculed by the neighbors. My friends are horrified. They cross the street to avoid me. They want to blot me from memory, forget me like a corpse in a grave, discard me like a broken dish in the trash. The street talk gossip has me criminally instained. Behind locked doors, they plot how to ruin me for good. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You are my God. Hour by hour, I place my days in your hands, safe from the hands out to get me. Warm me, your servant, with a smile. Save me because you love me. Don't embarrass me by not showing up. I've given you plenty of notice. Embarrass the wicked. Stand them up, leave them stupidly shaking their heads as they drift down to hell. Gag those loud-mouthed liars who heckle me, your follower with jeers and catcalls. What a stack of blessing you have piled up for those who worship you, ready and waiting for all who run to you to escape an unkind world. You hide them safely away from their opposition. As you slam the door on those oily, mocking faces, you silence the poisonous gossip. Blessed, his love is the wonder of the world. Trapped by a siege, I panicked. Out of sight, out of mind, I said. But you heard me say it. You heard and listened. Love God, all you saints. God takes care of all who stay close to him. But he pays back in full those arrogant enough to go it alone. Be brave. Be strong. Don't give up. Expect God to get here soon. Thus far, the word of the Lord. You may be seated. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You are my God. Hour by hour, I place my days in your hand, safe from the hands out to get me. Warm me, your servant, with a smile. Save me because you love me. Don't embarrass me by not showing up. I've given you plenty of notice. Well, this is chapter 14. And the subtitle is Desperate Times and Desperate Measures. There's that statement, desperate times call for desperate measures. So I want to deal with desperate times and desperate measures. The story is told of a young man who stood one night on the edge of a high bridge. Life had broken him. He lost his job. His relationship had ended. And his family didn't know the pain he carried. As he looked down at the dark water below, he thinks to himself, I can't do this anymore. I can't face this. Can't fight this. Can't feel this anymore. I just want the pain to stop. I want the hurt to stop. I want the thoughts to stop. I want the burden and the weight and the heaviness to stop. His standing on the edge with intention of jumping and ending it all is not where he imagined himself being years ago. It's not even where he saw himself being months ago. Life was quite different years ago. His capacity to handle the changes that had come his way was greater then, but the cumulative weight of everything puts him in a space and place that he never imagined being. He's desperate. He's caught in a mixture of emotional exhaustion and helplessness, where he believes that nothing can change where he is and that he has no way out. Psychologists would describe him as having reached a point of cognitive constriction. I ain't come up with that on my own. My research assistant, ChatGPT, told me. The psychologists would call this cognitive constriction, where his mind is narrowed to seeing only one perceived solution. And that one perceived solution is ending the pain. The chronic nature of his despair over time has weakened his sense of self, his sense of what is possible, his sense of what future he might have, his ability to recover. Neurologists would say that his being under chronic stress resulted in an impairment of the frontal lobe functioning, which has reduced his ability to think clearly, and that imbalances of serotonin and dopamine have heightened his emotional pain, causing his brain to be locked in a state of crisis, unable to access hope. Ernest Hemingway, who won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954, ended up taking his own life with a shotgun in 1961. Just look, one moment he's the Nobel laureate. The next moment he finds himself in a shack with a shotgun, ending his life. Biographers inform us how his battle with depression, physical illness, and loss of purpose after years of success created a combination of hopelessness and despair. One of the quotes for which he is often remembered comes from his book, A Farewell to Arms. It starts out by saying, the world breaks everyone, and afterward, many are strong in the broken places. Now, that's often where we would end the quote, but that's not where he stops. He goes on and says, but those that will not break, it kills. It kills the very good and the very gentle and the very brave impartially. And if you are none of those, you can be sure it will kill you too. But there will be no special hurry. In the wake of the 2008 economic crisis, business owners in Greece and Italy, having lost their businesses, publicly committed suicide. In the United States, there were instances of middle-aged men who, feeling that they failed their families due to job loss and foreclosure, they took their lives. Having lost their sense of dignity, their role, they saw death as the only exit. The inability of veterans to make peace with what they saw or had to do in war has led many to take their lives out of moral desperation. And if you were able to talk to any one of those whom I mentioned, the common theme that you would probably hear is not wanting to die, but not wanting to live like this anymore. Wanting relief and not finding it. And in desperation, they end it all. Now, lest you think that people of God are immune, let me call you to mind Saul and Samuel chapter 31, facing defeat at the hands of the Philistines and seeing his sons killed in battle and not wanting to be taken captive or be killed by them. He ends his life by falling on the sword. And Judas, seeing no way past his guilt and no one to help him, acts in desperation, hangs himself on a tree. Now, suicide is the most extreme act of desperation. But there are less extreme acts that desperate people take in desperate times. Get caught in addictive behavior, can't see a way out. End up doing stuff that they never thought they would end up doing. Find themselves in spaces that they never thought they would because they just need some relief because they can't take what they're taking anymore. And if you don't think you can find yourself in desperation, keep living. Life will hit you. Life will bring something your way. And you'll start having these surges of dopamine and serotonin, and your mind starts constricting to the point where you can only see one thing. And that one thing is not what you would choose if you weren't so desperate. The text before us presents a Psalm of David where David expresses his desperation. Now we know of times when he acted out of desperation. His desperation to survive Saul prompted him to seek cover from Saul in Achish, the king of the Philistines, not once, but twice. The first time he tried to hide out under the belief that the enemy of my enemy is my friends. He overheard, he started getting scared thinking that Achish was going to kill him. And then he started acting crazy, for real, causing Achish to cause him to leave. It's in desperation that we will do things that we never thought, jumping out of the frying pan and where? Into the fire. That's what David does, and he does it twice. Twice he acts in desperation. And while we're not given what the particular moment of this desperation is, we are given the description of the desperation. And we're given the choice that he makes in the midst of the desperation. If indeed desperate times require desperate measures, we need to know what the healthy measures are when we are desperate. Listen to David's description of his desperation in verses 9 through 13. He says, I'm in deep trouble again. I've cried my eyes out. I feel hollow inside. My life leaks away, groan by groan. My years fade out inside. My troubles have worn me out, turned my bones to powder. To my enemies, I'm a monster. I'm ridiculed by neighbors. My friends are horrified. They cross the street to avoid me. They want to blot me out from memory, forget me like a corpse in a grave, discard me like a broken dish in the trash. The street talk gossip, you know how they are, has me criminally insane. Behind locked doors, they plot how to ruin me for good. Can you hear David's fatigue? Can you hear his frustration? I'm in deep trouble again. Have you ever found yourself in a situation that you thought you'd never enter again? Do you remember a time when you prayed, Lord, if you get me through this, I promise, Lord, I will never, ever end up here again. And then months later, again. David says, I'm in deep trouble. Again. He's cried his Eyes out, he feels hollow, empty, he's worn out. Life is leaking away, groan by groan. His years are fading out in size. Socially, he's an outcast. Like Job, his friends are terrified to be identified with him. Ridiculed by neighbors who don't know him well, they attempt to avoid him. They want to forget he ever existed, blot him from memory. The word on the street is he's out of it. People are meeting in private with plans to ruin him for good. It's a desperate time for David. And with this saying that he's in deep, deep trouble again, this ain't the first bout that he's had with his desperation. He's facing something again, carrying something again, having to fight again. Maybe you can identify with that. You've cried your eyes out. You felt hollow. You felt empty. Felt times when life was leaking away, days and weeks and months and even years spent sighing, passing you by, fading out. You're in trouble again. Having to fight again. Having to carry again. Having to struggle again. Having to take shots again. Do chemo again. Face pain again. Go to the cemetery again. Grieve again. You can't take it much more. David could have taken the desperate measure of accelerating his wasting away by ending it all, but listen to what he says. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You are my God. The desperate measure that David would take is a measure towards life. Rather than throw his life away, he throws his life on God. Rather than leap off a bridge, he leaps towards God. With desperation saying, put me out of my misery, David's faith says, bring your misery to God. You see, choosing life when you're in a desperate time requires choosing what leap you take. If you're going to jump, you got to choose what jump you make. The young man on the high bridge is contemplating what leap to take. He goes to the bridge with the notion of leaping to his death. It's leaping towards termination. He wants it to be over. He wants it to be done. He wants it to be over and done is prompting him to take the leap of his being over and done. He ponders taking the leap of desperation leading to death. His choice would be dying in his desperation. But not so with David. While David is tired and desperately wants things to be over and done, he doesn't want himself to be over and done. David can still distinguish between it and him. It is not him. It may be on him. It may be with him. It may be over him. It may be in him. But it is not him. And therefore, he refuses to leap into what could end him trying to end it. He chooses not to leap out of his desperation, which would lead not to death, but out of his faith, which would lead to life. His desire is not to die in or with his desperation. It is to live past his desperation. Because while he may not want to live like what he's living, he still wants to live. And therefore, he resists jumping to what his desperation would prompt him to do. Friends, when we find ourselves in a desperate place or a desperate space, we got to be able to separate it from us. It is not you. It is just it. You are more than it. You are greater than it. And therefore, you got to be careful what step you choose. Sometimes we leap before we look. In our desperation to get out the fire, we jump into the frying pan. And we must choose what to leap to make, because it's out of desperation that you can only see finality or death. But can you have some faith in the midst of desperation and be able to see hope and possibility? Can you distinguish ending it from ending you? And if so, what move should you make? What leap should you make to live long enough to get past living like you're currently living? Choosing life means that I got to choose to live past my desperation, which means I got to take a leap of faith. The leap of faith says there's more than the option of me dying with my desperation. There's more than me ending myself in my desperation. I can live past my desperation. I can live through my desperation. I resist the image prompted by my serotonin. I renounce the dopamine influence message. I'm going to start activating my prefrontal cortex. I'm going to start activating that part of my brain by having some hope and believing that there is something beyond my time of desperation. I'm going to take a leap of faith, believing that I will live to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I'm going to activate my hope that will tell me I shall not die, but I shall live and I shall declare the glory of the Lord. Choosing life in the midst of your desperation says don't just choose what leap to make, but you got to choose where you're going to leap. With the notion of leaping out of desperation, the young man looks over the edge and he's thinking about jumping off the ledge into the water. With the desire being death, he chooses to jump off the bridge and into the water. Now let's look at David. Listen what David says. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You are my God. I run to you, God. I run for dear life. Don't you let me down. Take me seriously this time. Get down on my level and listen, and please don't you procrastinate. Your granite cave is a hiding place. Your cliff is a high place of safety. You're my cave to hide into, my cliff to climb. Be my safe ladder. Be my true mountain guide. Free me from hidden traps. I want to hide in you. I put my life in your hands. You will not drop me. You'll never let me down. Do you see the leap that he makes? He's desperate. He says, I got to jump. But if I'm going to choose to jump, I'm going to jump on God. He leaps towards God. He runs to God for life. He puts his life in God's hands. He says, my desire for life is directing me to God. He goes to God in prayer. He seeks God's attention. He seeks God's protection. He seeks God's deliverance. David takes the leap of faith through prayer. Listen to that prayer again. God, don't you let me down. Take me seriously this time. Get down on my level and listen to me. Sometimes your faith is so weak that you feel you can't reach to his level. But it's good to know that God can come down to your level. God, come down to where I am. God, meet me right where I am. Be my safe leader. Be my true mountain guide. Free me from the hidden traps. Be kind to me. Don't you embarrass me, God. Don't you let me down this time. I need you, and I need you right now. He lays it all out before God. His leaping to God by way of prayer is what holds him together. You see, it's the time spent living through prayer. His time in prayer is what gives him the power to live past his desperation, to live through his desperation. Because the longer and more that he's in prayer, the less that he's on the throes of his depression, on the throes of his desperation, and the less subject he is to what his desperation would provoke. Sometimes you got to see prayer as your weapon. Prayer is your weapon by which you do battle against your desperation, against your depression, against the thoughts that would have you destroy yourself. You got to go down into prayer, put yourself in prayer. His time in prayer puts him in a space and place that opens his mind to new possibilities. You see, friends, prayer is a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith that can keep you from jumping off a bridge. Prayer exercises your faith, which engages your anterior cingulate cortex. You see, God made us, and he designed us in ways such that our spiritual activity impacts our physicality. God says, I wired you in such a way that when you start exercising your spirituality, it blesses you in the physical. Because when you pray, you're actually engaging your anterior cingulate cortex, which is the emotional steering wheel of the brain. It's the part of your brain that regulates your emotions and corrects errors in thinking. It's the part of your brain that handles disappointment and reframes negative emotions. It's the part of your brain that sends the message that things aren't always what they seem and that you are more than what you feel. It takes the wheel and stabilizes you in the midst of the turbulence in your life. Prayer quiets the fear circuits in your amygdala and replaces panic with peace and soothes your anxious brain and takes you off the ledge. I just gave you a neurological explanation of what you've encountered in prayer recently. You were all hyped up and ramped up and wound up about to get somebody told, tell somebody off, put somebody in their place. You were shaken, you were afraid, you were off kilter, you had it up to here, about to jump off, go off, check out, quit, but you prayed. And in the midst of your praying, calm came. In the midst of your praying, quiet came. In the midst of your praying, peace came. In the midst of your praying, clarity came. Things slowed down. Your blood pressure lowered. Your heart rate steadied. Your anxiety lowered. Your fear subsided. You bit your tongue. You held your peace. You considered another possibility. You saw another way, because you took a leap of faith by prayer. David's leap of faith by prayer gave him what he needed to fight against his desperation. You see, our forebears, they understood that. That's why they would sing, every time I feel the Spirit moving in my heart, I will pray. You see, sometimes the Spirit knows what's going on. And the Spirit says, I see you about to go off. I see you about to lose it. And so the Spirit says, no, that ain't what you're going to do. You're going to get down on your knees. You're going to go into a secret closet. You're going to close your eyes. Even if you're in a meeting, you're going to close your eyes in the Spirit, and you're going to get in contact with God so that God can give you exactly what you need to slow you down, to calm you down, to quiet you down, and so that you'll be able to survive. Am I talking to somebody right now who can say, that's what God did for me? I went into prayer, and prayer suspended my time. Prayer put me in a space and place with God. There were people all around me, and they didn't know it was just me and God was giving me exactly what God gave me, a download in my spirit. Prayer. David's leap of faith by prayer fights against what his desperation sought to shut down. His desperation shut down consideration of options and possibilities and hope, but his faith-activated prayer opened up his mind to possibility and hope. Because what it did, it started engaging that hippocampus, which is the memory and meaning-making part of the brain. There's a part of your brain that links your past experiences to new understanding. It looks at past pain in light of larger purpose and remembers difficulty with less distress. David says, I'm in trouble again, feeling desperate. But his prayer causes him to remember God in the midst of past troubles and alerts him to who God is now. God was his cave to hide in. God was his cliff to climb. God saw his pain. God disarmed his tormentors. God didn't leave him in their clutches. God gave him room to breathe. When the wicked, even his enemies and his foes, came upon him to eat up his flesh, they stumbled and they fell. He landed well in his path, leaping of faith, choosing life in desperation occurs when our leap of faith is strengthened by our looking back at our past landings. You see, taking a leap of faith is not a blind leap, it's an informed leap. You look before you leap, but your looking is not looking down, it's looking back. You look back before you leap. You look back and see how God has been and what God has done and how God has provided. You look back and you see those narrow places, those tight spots, those fixes that you were in, your back being against the wall, and the fact that God was there, the fact that God gave you room and God gave you space, and God didn't let you suffocate, and God didn't let you drown. God didn't let the flames scorch you. God didn't let the lions eat you. God didn't let the weapon formed against you prosper. God did not drop you. God did not let you utterly fall. I'm trying to help somebody. You're looking before you leap. The last time that you leaped, God caught you. God kept you. God gave you a safe landing. Your looking back then is what gives you the confidence to leap now. Is there anybody who can say, I can look back at times when I leaped and God caught me? I thought I was in the throes of the enemy. I thought the enemy had the end, but my God was right there with me, and therefore what the enemy meant for my evil, God worked it for my good. God was by my side, and therefore God will not fail me now. That's why David says, I'm leaping and singing in the circle of your love. You saw my pain. You disarmed my tormentors. You didn't leave me in their clutches, but you gave me room to breathe. David says, I'm going to leap presently because I can look back at how I landed in the past. The God who caught him, the God who kept him, the God who brought him past, and the God who brought him through his previous times of desperation is the God who will catch him. He's the God who will hold him. He's the God who will bring him past again. Listen to him again. Desperate, I throw myself on you. You're my God. Hour by hour, I place my days in your hand, safe from the hands out to get me. Warm me, your servant, with a smile. Save me because you love me. What a stack of blessing. I like that image. What a stack of blessing. Pile of blessing. You have for those who worship you, ready and waiting for all who run to you to escape an unkind world. You hide them safely away from the opposition. As you slam the door on those oily mocking faces, you silence the poisonous gossip. Blessed be God. His love is the wonder of the world. Love God, all you saints. God takes care of all who stay close to him. Look at David. David says, I'm taking my leap now. I'm reminded that this leap is continuous. He says, hour by hour, I place my days in your hand. David gives us a clue of how you make it. He says, hour by hour, I place my days in your hand. David says, I take the day by taking it hour by hour. You see, this choosing life by taking the leap of faith is an hour by hour thing. Because how many of you know no 2 hours are the same? In 1 hour you can be up, next hour you can be down. 1 hour you got a job, next hour you're dismissed. 1 hour your loved one is clear and lucid. The next hour he or she is agitated and confused. 1 hour they're alive, the next hour they're gone. 1 hour all is well, and another hour everything is falling apart. You got to deal with this thing hour by hour. Choosing life is taking the leap of faith hour by hour. You don't get through the day by the day. You get through the day by the hour. Every hour is an hour of choosing the leap of faith. It's choosing to place yourself in God's hands. It's choosing that God is God. It's choosing to believe that God is able to keep what you've committed unto God against that day. Each hour that you choose to throw yourself onto God is an hour that you're not on the bridge. Each hour that God catches you and keeps you is one more hour that you're living through and living past your desperation. I need to know, is there anybody here who can say, I know about living hour by hour? Talk back to me if you know that you made it by just going hour by hour. Talk back. Give me a wink. Give me a wave. If you know that you needed the Lord hour by hour. Have you ever prayed these words? I need you every hour. Most gracious Lord, no tender voice like thine can peace afford. I need you, oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. Oh, bless me now, my Savior. I come to thee. Is there anybody who can say he met you in that hour? And his meeting you in that hour gave you exactly what you needed to make you through the door. He caught you when you leaped in the dark hour. He caught you in the lonely hour. He caught you in the distressed hour. He caught you in the crying hour. Talk back to me if you can say, I did not know how I was going to make it through the day, but somehow hour by hour the Lord held my hand. The Lord guided me. The Lord directed me. The Lord sustained me. The Lord prepared for me. Every hour that you take in the leap of faith and God catches you is an hour that you know that you're not by yourself. You're not alone. That there's somebody who is with you. There's somebody by your side. There's somebody who cares for you. There's somebody who will save you because he loves you. There's somebody who will warm you with his smile. There's somebody who will bless you and keep you. There's somebody who will make his face to shine upon you. There's somebody who will be gracious unto you and give you peace. There is somebody who says, I will take care of those who stay close to me, and that his love is a wonder of the world. I wonder, is there anybody here who can say, I can testify that I have been blessed hour by hour by hour by hour by hour by hour by the presence of God. I've been kept hour by hour by hour by hour by the peace of God. I've been overwhelmed and overcome hour by hour by hour by hour by the love of God. Is there anybody who can say his love is wonderful? Is there a witness who can say he caught you when you took your leap of faith? Is there somebody who can co-sign that he's able to keep you after he's caught you? Come down and testify minute by minute and hour by hour and day by day and week by week and month by month and year by year. God has caught you and the Lord has kept you in your leaping. You've leapt by faith. You've leapt in faith. You've leapt of faith. You've leapt for faith. Ah, my God, that's why David says, let me close this thing real good. He says, that's why you got to be brave. That's why you got to be strong. That's why you don't give up, because you expect God to get to you soon. You take a leap believing that by the time you've jumped off, the Lord is going to be there to catch you. The Lord is going to be there to hold you. The Lord is going to be there to provide for you. You're leaping by faith because you expect God to show up. That's why Abraham, when the Lord said, I need you to offer up my son, Abraham said, I'm going to take the leap of faith. That's why when they're walking and Isaac says, Daddy, I see the wood. Daddy, I see the fire. Where is the lamb for the sacrifice? Oh my God, it's a desperate time for Abraham, but because he can look back, he says, I'm going to leap now. He says, the Lord will provide. I don't know how, I don't know when, I don't know where. I just believe that the Lord, he will provide. He gets up to the mountain, my God, ties Isaac down, builds up the fire, takes the knife, getting ready, and then the Lord shows up. The Lord says, hold on, Abraham. Now the Lord knows knows that you will fear him, that you will obey him. And Abraham said, the Lord will provide. Jehovah Jireh. I leaped and he's let me land. I dare you to high five somebody and say, you ain't got to jump off the ledge. You can jump into God. You don't have to jump by desperation. You can jump by faith. Look now at the young man as he's getting ready to jump off the bridge. But then the old man shows up, and an old man engages him in conversation, sits with the young man, listens to the young man, and the longer that the young man talks to the older man, the closer that the older man gets to him. And finally, he's next to the young man, and the young man just collapses in his arms. Rather than leaping to death, he has taken a leap of faith and leaps to life. And the old man showed up, and the old man was right on time. Don't you know that's how God is? God shows up at just the right time, in just the right place, in just the right way. Paul tells us in Romans chapter 5, verses 3 through 6, not only so, but we glory in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance works character, and character works hope, and hope does not put us to shame because God's love has been poured out in our hearts through the Holy Spirit who has been given to us. And here it is. You see, at just the right time, when we were still powerless, Christ died for the ungodly. When we were helpless, when we were weak, when we were without strength, when we had no wherewithal, at just the right time, Christ showed up and died for us all. Then at just the right time, after he died, at the right time, on Sunday morning, God raised him from the dead. And at just the right time, he appeared to Mary. And at the right time, he appeared to the disciples on the road to Emmaus. And at the right time, he appeared to the disciples in the upper room. And then at the right time, he appeared to Thomas and showed himself to be alive. Because Jesus showed up, we're able to take a leap of faith, to believe that I'm going to leap to life. We have the hope of God showing up at any time. In my desperation, I will choose to leap to life because he caught me in the past, and I believe he'll catch me in my future hours. Can you slap five with somebody and say, neighbor, I've had that experience. I've been there. I've been at the edge. I've been on the ledge, but I'm so glad that there was a God that showed up and brought me back. And now I'm leaping not off a bridge, but I'm leaping to him. I'm leaping in faith, and I'm leaping by faith, and I'm leaping for faith. And I wonder, is there anybody here who can say there's something that happens when you take the leap and he catches you, when you take the leap and he holds you, when you take the leap and he fights for you, when he takes the leap and he comes through for you? Rather, there's a change that happens. Rather than leaping for your faith, you move into leaping for joy. I wonder, is there anybody here who can say, I get joy when I think about what he's done for me. I've leapt by faith and he caught me. And when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Is there anybody here who can say, neighbor, I feel like leaping for joy, leaping in celebration, leaping in praise, because he's been good. He's been good. He's kept me. He's made a way, fought my battle, changed my mind, gave me peace, regulated my soul, strengthened my spirit. Yeah! 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 get in the place, you say, I can't live like this anymore. You take a leap and you see God catch you. You see God come through for you. You see God make a way for you. Because that's the type of God he is. I almost let go. Felt like I just couldn't take life anymore. Depression weighed me down. But God held me close. So I wouldn't let go. I almost gave up. Right at the edge of a breakthrough. Couldn't see it. Devil really had me. But Jesus came and grabbed me. So I'm here today.
So I'm here today.
Hallelujah.
Because